we learned so far. So we started with 3 methodologies, which are BDD, TDD, and DDD. So how are they interconnected and how they help in like creating quality softwares. So then we saw TDD approach for our Golang unit test. Okay, so till now we saw that. So now, so this was a simple divide program which we tried to unit test, right? So these are the basic things, but there is few complex things which might come in Golang. Like, let's say if you have some code, something like this, where you have different interfaces, structures, and this function receivers are there. So how to test these things, that we are going to learn in this part. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, let's say we have I've created this application, or you can say a code before, so that we can unit test it. So I have created this structure called as product, which contains ID, name, price, and stock. Okay, we have created these different packages for maintaining separation of concerns. In the live projects, you will also see such things. So yeah, I tried to emulate that. Okay, so this was a model package which contains all the structures which we are going to use in the application. So there I have defined one structure called as product. And then I defined one repository package which contains like data layer, which is nothing but a data layer which maintains our data. So for that product, so we are going to create this one structure which maintains that product's data in the form of map, string, and models.product. So string is nothing but a product ID. Let's say this product ID is UUID. You must have heard UUID, right? Okay. So this is a string. We are maintaining product details using in this form. So we are storing in this data, we have product ID. Against that, we maintain what is the product ID, product name, what is the price, like that data we are maintaining here. So in real application, you will see like there will be database. You are storing that data into database. But right now we are yet to learn about database and all. So right now I'm just using this map where we are like updating this data into the map. Okay, and for like consistency of data, I'm using this mutex. We saw this yesterday only, right? Okay, so this is clear. So we have one product structure. Okay, and I'm using this data map to maintain this data. Okay, and I have defined one interface which will add new products to this data. Okay, and this product repository structure is implementing that interface. So it is like adding products to this data. Okay, is this code clear? Any questions on this?
Can you repeat it once more?
Yeah. So basically, we created 3 packages. One is models. So in this, we are keeping these structures, all the structures which we are going to use. But for now, we just have product. Product contains product ID, product name, what is the price of product, and stock value. Okay. And we have created one more package which like maintains data. So in this case, we are keeping this data inside this map. But in real life, you can use database for storing database as well, this layer. Okay. So here we have created this one structure for repository which maintains this data. Data is in the form of product ID, and against product ID, we are storing the details of products, like what is the name, what is the price, like that. And we have defined one method, inside interface. Okay, we have defined one interface which has this method called as add. Okay, and this structure is implementing this interface using this function receiver. Okay, is this clear? What this function is doing? So whenever there is a function call as add, with some product details. So it is storing that product details against this ID. Is this clear now? Don't look at the complete code, look at only the part which I'm highlighting. Okay, so if you look at complete code, you might get confused. It is simple. First, we define this model structure, simple product structure. Okay, so we could have defined this inside like here as well, but we wanted to maintain separation of concerns. So that's why I created it in a different package. Okay, so and then we define this structure which contains data. Data could be in the form of product ID and models of product. And we have this mutex for handling like atomic operations on this data. So whenever we are trying to add something into this data, there shouldn't be any like critical section part, which we learned yesterday, right? So there couldn't be any race condition where this data is incorrectly updated. So that's why we are using mutex. Okay, so for to update this data, we are defining one interface which contains this method to add product. So add product, what it does is it just create this data in the form of product ID and product. Is this clear? Okay. Clear or any questions? I saw yes, but I think it was regarding if everyone is there or not. Is this clear to you guys? If no, then say no. If there are any specific questions, you can say it. Is this clear or not, guys? If you don't reply, I will not get it, or I'll move it, but that will not help you. Okay, yes, I got few yes. Okay. Okay. So this is about repository layer where we maintain this data. Okay. And now we created one more package called as services, which contains actual business logic, where we decide like this is one method we have added, but there could be many methods like delete or any other like update method would have been there. Okay, so this is repository layer, but the service layer which will actually decide which method to call from data layer. So that is nothing but a service layer. So here also similarly we created this structure called as product service. In this we have this dependency for data layer because we are going to call methods from this repository layer. So we have added this repo as a field inside this service. We have injected this inside it. Okay, and then we define this interface for product, which actually defines methods, what actions, what business logic I need to write. So I need to write business logic for inserting products. So I can create this method insert, so which will internally call this method. Okay, and it will do some handle business logic, like if product is not there, what should happen, if there is some error we got from repository layer or data layer, what should we do. Those such things will be handled at this package. Okay, this is clear. These are the two different packages we have. Okay, so now let's see how can we test this service layer. Okay, so let's start with that. So if I want to write test for this service, so where should I write it? That will not change from like basic test which we wrote. So if I want to write this test for this file, this package, services package, where should I write it? I'll write in the same package. What should be the name of file? So name of file would be, you can just write services underscore test, or you can just write product services service underscore test.go. This will be more easier because we will come to know like this is file, for this file, this is the test file. This is really easy. So that's why I use this name. Okay. So now what we want to test is, so how to write test, we want to test insert function from that service package, right? You guys need to help me now. Okay, how should I write it? Test for insert. Can anyone answer? No one is answering. Is there anything wrong? You can unmute yourself and answer, guys.
Test product service underscore insert.
Yeah, we can do this as well, or we can just write, if there is only one method, then you can just write test insert. And this is wrong. What should be here?
We need to import testing and then t start testing.
Testing not. Okay, let's just write simple test first. Okay, so we want to call this test function. Okay, test function is defined like this. So how can I call this? Can I call directly insert? Can I call like this insert? Will this work? How can we call this method?
Using package name.
Hmm?
Using package name.
No, using package name. That
Oh, sorry, we are in the same package. Sorry. Yeah.
huh? No, this is this has this receiver, right? So we need to
Yeah, correct. We need to create a receiver.
on that. So if you have this function with this receiver, then you need to create this like object of this product service and then call it, isn't it? You cannot directly call this insert. So they are in the same package, right? You do not need to import it package. So if you are able to call it, like if your method was something like this, then you would be able to directly call it here, insert. But your method is not like that. Your method is defined on this function receiver, which is on this struct. So we'll just create product service struct. Okay. So there is one method we already wrote, which returns this new product service, one object of product service structure. Okay. So we'll use this method. This just return object of this product service. Okay, I'll just create new product service. So we are in the same package. So we can directly call it. We do not need to import it. So new product service takes this repository, product repository interface. So how to pass interface? Interface cannot be passed. We cannot create object of interface, right? So to do it, we'll need like in whenever there is like argument of interface, you can pass structure which implements that interface. So this interface is implemented by this product repository struct, right? So we can call this. So there is one more method I've already defined, which returns structure of this type. So I'll use this method. So I'll create one structure object, which will, so here it will not work because this is in the different package. So we need to use repositories dot new product. So it will automatically import this. Okay. So you have imported this package and now you are using this method from here. So you got this object of repo and now you need to pass it as reference. Okay, so this is how you can, whenever there is argument of type interface, then you need to pass structure which implements that interface. Okay, so that's why I use this method returns structure which is implementing this interface, which is the argument for this type. Is this clear? Is this clear, guys? Proxy receiver, what does that mean? Okay, that was older answer. Is this clear? You can say yes or no, whatever it is. Okay, yes, no. What is not clear? Can you please ask your question? Karthik?
Regarding the service, I didn't understand the repo and service.
So basically in actual applications, what we do is we differentiate between data layer. Data layer means which handles your data, actual data, which decides whether to store it in the DB or in any other format it wants to store. That is nothing but a data layer. Okay, we have created this different package repositories which manages this data. Okay, so we have defined all the methods which handles this data, and there is a service layer which will handle business logic. Okay, so here what we did is, so we have this product service structure, so which will actually call data layer. So to call that data layer, it needs to have information about that data layer. So it has this field of type interface. Okay,
Could you
and
just explain the line number 15 here?
okay, so basically this product service needs to, like, if it wants to store some data, this is business logic, right? Service layer means, so we actual data storing part is done at repository layer. Okay, so we want to call that method. How can we call it? Using, like, we need to call this using this interface. So why we use this interface instead of, we could have used the structure as well, right, directly.
Yeah.
But for unit testing, this interface can be implemented by two. Okay, that is the next part actually I was going to do, but yeah, okay. So basically, if you like, so in unit test case, so as I mentioned earlier, what is not test case? Where you do not call actual database. So if I write structure here, okay, then like so let's try with that only. Okay, let's do that. That would be more easy. Okay, let's just define this. So now I'll just change this to product repository. Okay, so this is also correct. Okay, this will also work. The reason why it was used is going forward, as I said, so we need to mock this. For mocking, we cannot mock if we pass this as structure. That's why we needed interface here. So yeah, let's try to do this with this. Okay, is this clear now? This part is clear if we use repository.
Yeah, now it's clear.
Okay, let's see. Okay, let's try to test this part. Okay, but in actual life, where like we have at data layer right now, we are just storing inside this data, but going forward we might need to call database calls here, like we might call insert into this table, like that. So as we saw in the when we started unit testing, the unit test should not have actual database calls. So if like we use this structure, so that we will not be able to mock it. So to make it mock, we were using that interface. So that if we use interface can be defined on multiple structures, right? So we would have defined one more structure, mock structure, which would have implemented this method in different way, instead of which was calling this actual database part. That's why we were using that, but this is also fine for now. Okay, you will come to know that we will not be able to mock it. Is this clear till now? Let's call this. Let's test this. Okay. So service. We want to call this service. So it's a string. So for now, just take it as this. We can test it like this. Price is 10. Stock value is also 10. Okay. So we are expecting this to so we can define that as well. Error. So this is success scenario we are trying to write. So if error is not equal to nil, then we'll just print an error. Insert. Okay. And we'll print this error. So we'll use some formatter. Okay. So now we'll remove this. Okay. Now let's try to run this. This will work because right now we just have direct database. Direct in-memory data structure. So this is simple Go code. There is no database calls. So this will work. Okay. But now let's say we will not be able to produce error case right now because there is no error handling in this database layer right now. If we want to add, you can do it. But for now, let it be. This thing till now, this is clear. This is same as what we did for arithmetic test, right? But let's say there was a database part here. Okay, so if we had some query here which was inserting into database, but in case of database, like if we have run this, it would have like inserted in some kind of database. So that was not correct. That will not be a correct unit test. Okay, so to avoid that, so there is one way that you should use interface here, so that this repo method, repo.add method, like can be handled in different way. So we will define two structures. One is this repository which is actually adding it, and we will define one more mock which will not actually adding it. Okay, so that's why we were using interface here. Is this fine? Should I do it in this way, or still you have some questions? Is this fine or still not clear? So if you use this, so you always need to pass this method. So like this will always call this method. You cannot define one more method add on the same structure, right? If I try to define one more function, this will not work, right? In case of Go, same method will not work where I need to mock that, correct? So one way is like, if we pass this interface, so we can define one more structure, which is mocked one, which will not actually call database or which will not actually update this data. Okay, so that's why we use this interface there. Is this clear or no? Okay, let's see like how can we mock it. If you want to mock it, you need to use interface. Otherwise, you will not be able to mock it. So in standard cases, you need to mock it, because in the unit test case, you cannot call actual databases. Okay. So this will also be interface. So whenever there is argument of type interface, you can pass any structure to this function, which implements all the methods on this interface. Okay, is this clear? Okay, now let's see how can we create mock functions for this interface. Okay, so for this, there is a library available. You can write on your own, but that is little difficult. So these are the standard libraries. One of them is Mockery. You can use it. This can be easily installed. If you are using Mac, then you can directly use brew install and Mockery. I already have that installed. So to create mocks, you just need to run one command, mockery-all. So keep tree. So this will generate all the mocks. Okay, let's just generate one mock. So I'll just generate one mock. So you can keep it anywhere, but I'm like following the same structure what they have suggested here. So what it will do is it will create mocks on the current folder. So I'm inside this Swiggy training. So here I'll just create a mock. What was that command I forgot? Mock all keep tree. Right. So what this command does is it will just generate all the mocks inside this folder. So this keep tree means this will inside, it will create a mock folder. So if you see, I have got this mock folder and it will maintain the structure. Like if I have this package as repository, inside this it will create mock for the interface. Okay. So I just have only two interfaces actually. For product service also it has generated one mock. Okay, and there is one more mock for product repository interface. It generated. So is this clear? This is just a simple command which will like create mock for your interfaces. So I have this. What it will do is it will just create one structure. So if you see, we have this products repository interface, right? So how this mock is generated? So this creates one more structure which implements this method add. Is this clear? So this just generate this so that we can call this method instead of that actual method in the test. Is this clear? We do not need to remember this. This is just like there are automated ways to generate this. So how this works is basically this creates one more structure which implements the same interface. Is this clear? So this interface has this method. So this mock has implemented this method. So this we can use now. So in our test, what we need to do is, so we have like called this. So new product repositories. Now we need to call that structure, which is mocked one. So it also have this new product repository interface, which returns product repository interface structure. Okay, so I will be calling this method now instead of that real method. So the difference is only that like earlier method was returning actual structure of this package, but this method is returning mocked version of it. Okay, but while testing, I'm testing this service only. Okay, is this clear? So this will, I think there are some issues with my editor. That's why it's showing red. Is this clear? No. What part?
Where we have generated the mocks for the repo, services and the repo.
Services. Okay. So in this product, like this folders which we have, there are two interfaces I have defined. One is for this product service interface, and other is for this repo, product repository interface. Okay. So this has this method add, and another service has insert method. Okay. So when I generate mock, what it does is it is scanning over all the packages it has. Okay. Models, repository service. Models has no interface. Okay. So that's why it didn't create models folder inside mocks. Okay. Then it went to repositories. In the repositories, it found this interface. Okay. Then it created this interface.go file. Okay. which has mocks package. Okay, inside mocks package, it has created a mocked version of this interface. So how to create mocked version of this interface? So you just need to define one more structure which implements this method, right? For repository, we have this method. So what it did, it just defined this structure mock, okay, and this just defined one method called as add. Okay, so basic our purpose is we do not want to call actual add method from service. We want to call mocked version of it.
So it is creating the structure which is implementing the these interfaces inside
Correct.
mock.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So what's exactly happening in this add method as compared to the actual method?
Yeah, this is just like returning something. I'm also not sure. I need to check. If you want, I can check it later and get back to you. But this is returning something mocked version. This is not going to actual database part. That is for sure. Okay, this is some dynamic programming it has done. But you can also define, like, if you do not want to use this mock library, you can define your own, and you can like just say ki return error, or so you can just define your own and you can just change it to return nil. So if you do this, so your mock version will always return nil value. Okay. So if you want to check, there are two possibilities for this mock. Where is that? Okay, here there are two possibilities. One is this is successful, other is it can return error. So for that, like, you need to add some logic, but you cannot add some functions like parameters here because that will change the actual method, right? So you cannot do it. So what this library does is it provides a way to, if you want to return error, so there are some methods defined. So there is some package it has used, mock package. So it has some methods, like it can decide like whether we want to return success response or fail. So it has such logic that we can define all the combinations on this function. Is this clear? We could have
Our main aim is to test the exact functionality which is present inside the add method of the services.
Our aim is to unit test. So what unit test is not what we saw. We do not want to call that actual. Our business logic lies in this function only. We do not want to test this function. So this function, we do not want to test that. So that's why we are mocking this. That we could check, like, if this function returns successful, no error, then what should happen? And what if it returns error, what will happen? So that's
Got
what
it.
we are going to check.
Understood.
So that's why we used mock. Is this clear?
So basically, we are trying to test this insert function, but also we don't want to
Yeah.
interact with the database. So we are mocking this add method.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so we have generated mocks now. We are expecting the dependent function to work properly, so we mocked them, but couldn't understand the mocking library. Okay, mocking library, I think you do not need to understand. You can check it later, but its work is to basically like return all the possible values, mock it in such a way that we can like test all the possible scenarios. In this case, syntax, can you explain this? This is really difficult to explain. Actually, I also don't know. I need to check it out. Okay. So this is some meta programming. You can learn about it. So it's mockery. You can check. Okay. I need to check it out. Yes, I don't know right now. So the basic purpose you understood, right? So this is, its purpose is to just whatever possible combinations are there, that should be mocked. So this is what its purpose is. Can you tell which framework was used? It's basically mockery. Mockery I have used. There are many actually. Mockery I have used. Okay. So I have mentioned the link inside this video as well, so you can see it. Okay. So let's do it. So now we have used this product repository interface, mocked version of it. So yeah, let's run it. What will happen? We'll just move to services so that we will just focus on one test case and define repositories dot. Okay, now this is in repository. Okay, because I'm using this, I want to use mocks slash testing mocks repositories. So I want to use. So earlier I was referring to, there was no method called as new product repository interface inside this repositories. Okay, now I want to refer from this mocks folder. So what I will do is I just need to change the import as well from where I'm referring. So it is testing is my module name. So mocks is the package name, and inside this. Okay, this is something. So this is correct one now. So this is the, so this takes structure. This takes something. What am I missing here? What I need to pass here? I was doing earlier. Product service. Okay, there was one interface, so we will pass in. Mocks no product interface. So inside I need to pass this. This has to be good. So sync imports. So that is done. So what will come here? Yeah, let me just do the same thing I did. Product repository interface. Okay, this directly they have used this. Okay, got it. Okay, so we just wanted this structure, right? So this new product service uses this interface. So why interface? It means we need to pass some structure which will implement all the methods of that interface. So I need not to call that new method. I needed to call this repository. So whenever you pass interface, you need to pass this by reference. So that's why I use this. Okay, so now let's try to run this with the help of mock. So we have passed this mock version now instead of real one. So let's just okay. I'll just go inside these services because I want to see only specific tests. Okay, test. So there is some error. So what it says. So we have defined, I don't know what to return because the method call was unexpected. So it says we have passed this mock version, but it doesn't know what to return. So because it expects this mock expects that something to be defined, like what should I return if I get this call. So it says either do something like this or remove or add call from the expected method, but we cannot remove add call because that is expected. So we will define this mock. Okay, so here we will define by our own, like repo dot add. So let me just I don't remember the syntax right now. So or you can check, like, this is mockery, right? We can just go to this and see like how it defines mocks. Just create mocks if I want to mock it. Okay, let's see. So on this object, we need to define mock like this. Okay, let's do it. On repo, if I call on repo on, so to mock it, so there is some syntax on mock 3. If I call this method add, what it should do? Add with arguments, you need to pass some arguments, add text, add, so inside this add text, this models dot product. Okay, so I need to define that. If I pass this one models dot product, if I pass this test, product name as Mac, value as 10, stock as 10, then I can define it to return. Okay, let's just open this. So slash product service test. What did we do on this method? If we call this, then okay, then return. So here we want to test success scenario. Let's say what if this function returns nil error. So what should happen? Okay, why this is giving error? Let me just run it. This was right. Then return nil. That once is not okay. 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 So there is some syncing problem, but yeah. So if you want to mock it, so if I run without mock, when you define this mock, it will give some error like this. So in that case, you need to mock it. So mock it. So it has already given the syntax. So similarly, you need to mock it. Like if I call add method with this arguments, it should return nil. Okay. Then what will happen is, so this will consider this is returning nil, assuming that this code will be executed. So that's why if I do this and run it, go test. So this will be successful. Okay. So let's say if this method returns error, so how can we mock it? You just need to say just return errors dot new. Okay. Fail to add. See, fail to insert because this is failing, because here we were expecting that if error is not equal to null. In this case, we were expecting that error should not be null. If error is error should not be. If error is not nil, then we are printing this. So this was getting printed. So second scenario, if you want to write test, what we can do is, so I'll just write below for now, or we'll do table driven itself. Okay, that will take some time. Let's just create one more test. Okay, or we can do one more thing. Let's just create t.run. This is a success scenario where we will just write this. Okay. So yeah, this is one scenario we did. So one more subtest will create. So what it will do? So first case we will do, it should return nil, and in the second case, this is a failure scenario. In this case, error should be nil. If it is returning error. So this message will change because we want error, right? In this case, if this function is returning error, our main insert function will also return error. If you see this implementation, if like this function returns error, we are also returning error. So that's why if error equal to nil, then this. So here we were expecting error, got no error. If error is nil, got no error. Okay, let's just run this. I think editor has syncing problem, so I'll just run it here. Expecting error, got no error. What is wrong in this? Because we call this method. So in this case, this is returning error if error equal to nil, but error is not equal to nil, right? Because this is written to add. Let's just run it with the help of -v. Okay, first in expecting error, but no error. If error equal to 2. Let's just run it to this. What is going wrong here, guys? Nil. Error is coming as nil. We are returning, but still it is. This is it should just return once. Should not happen that the same mock is getting called again. Yeah, so that was happening. So this mock was getting registered. So we have restricted it to only once. So that's why next time when we call the mock one more time, so it, no, this is fine. I think this editor, that's fine for now. But from here you can see this is working. Is this clear? Mocking part. This is a little confusing, but yeah, this is how.
What's this registry issue? Like, I didn't get
Which issue?
the registry issue. I mean, we are using this once. Like, what is it?
Which, sorry, I didn't get you.
Line number 35, we are using once.
Okay, so basically what is happening is, so when when our test case is running, we are running this complete test, right? So this mock is getting registered. Okay, so when so this is getting used multiple. So this was getting registered. So this is not getting used. So we want to, this can be used multiple times. So if we say once, so it will say when I call first time, use this. After that, let's say if I don't do this, this will give me error. Okay, not use it. Okay, so it will say you need to mock it. But if I remove this once, this will not like say that error because this got registered and this is used for both the calls. See, in this case, we were expecting error, but due to it is using the same mock, so we need to define, use this only once. Otherwise, this will be used forever for this test. Okay, subtest also using the same mock. Like when you define this mocks inside this subtest, this will be used for all.
So the return won't get changed if we, let's say we are not using once, so it won't change. Oh,
Correct.
okay.
So the same mock, this mock will be used for this test case as well. but we want different mock because our test case is like that. So we want to check if this function returns error. So what our main function will do? We want to test that. Okay, is this clear?
Yeah, but can you please remove this once statement at line number 36, where we have called once at line number 36? Once. Just remove the once wala part.
Should I remove this?
No, just remove the ones.
Okay, just remove the ones. Okay. Okay, so what it will do is it will use this. No, it will give an error that. Sorry. Now that work because acha. Because there is no other test case below, right?
Yes, got it.
Yeah. Like if I don't write once here, that is fine because like this was used once, second time when it was getting executed, this was registered. So it got this mock only, right? This will also work, but if I write one more test, like I write same test case again. So with nil value, okay. Now my test case is with nil value. And I'm testing this again. Now this test will fail because I am expecting error to be not nil here. But because of this mock is getting used for this test case because I haven't added once it here, right? Are you getting it?
Yeah.
This changes mock like library to library. So for every library, you do not need to like write once. So for mockery, it is required. So if you use other mocking libraries, then it will like different, like it will behave differently. You can check the documentation of mocks, like how that works. Okay. So here somewhere we might have to type. So if I run this will fail. So this last test case has failed because it was using this mock only. As I mentioned here, only once. So this is used for only this test case. If I run the same function again, so this will expect one more mock. Is this clear? Okay, so this was the tough part actually. So there are two things tough, like why did we pass this interface instead of structure? So that part is clear to you guys. That is because we wanted to mock it. In unit test, we do not call actual database call. So if we want to avoid that, we need to use this mock. So that's why we have to use this interface. Okay, this was one tough part. And other is this mocking. So in case of mocking is nothing but it just create a structure and defines method of that interface. And the third one was to defining this mock with once. If you use mockery, then you need to use this once. If you want to use mock only one time, let's say you have one more test case, you want the same mock, you can avoid it, like, but the below test case might fail. Is this clear?
Can you re-explain this part? Like, you told that we are mocking once or twice. So how we are knowing that we will be calling only once? Like, we have mocked it once, and we have created a test case there. So if you want to use that twice, like and we call it thrice. So the top two will be executed and third will not be executed.
Correct.
Okay.
So you should know for your test case how many mocks you need. Like, do you need this once, twice, or thrice? But always remember that I'm not sure whether it has twice, thrice functions or not. But let's say if you write this test case above and there are twice you need it, but on the third time you do not need it, then that will not work, because like this is registered for n number of times, so this will be used. So always use once
Hey, can you please show the insert function again?
in the same function.
Insert function. Can you please?
I
show
mean,
it?
in this, sorry, should I open this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so there is one more case. Actually, that case you can test. Yes. Okay. What do you want to know from this function?
Yeah, why is it? I mean, why is it not calling the add function which we have defined in the repository in the mocks? Like, I didn't get it. Why do we even need to mock this add method? We can change the behavior there as well, no? In the mock package.
I didn't get your question. So this is getting you first. We use the structure, right? When we use this structure, it was already like directly calling add function, this function, right? So what was your question? Like, what do you
Oh, yeah,
need?
correct, ma'am. Sorry, it was just a small misunderstanding.
Sorry, your voice is breaking a little bit. I didn't get it completely.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, yeah.
No, I get it. It was just a small mistake.
Okay, what was the mistake? So if you could tell, other will also correct their mistakes, if any.
No, ma'am. Actually, I was just wondering why are we even just adding the implementation of add function in the mock? If we don't, I mean, just we don't provide this implementation of this add function, then we won't be able to, just pass this product repository in the function because it will need add method.
Yeah, yes, right. If we do not implement this, or let's just try removing this method, okay, what will happen? So if I run my test, just remove it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We
Hmm.
can't use this repo.
Because this didn't like it has missing method.
Yeah, and method is not there.
So your mocked function must have that method.
Correct.
So going forward, let's say if you add some method to this repository, let's say I add like delete. I'll just get product ID. Okay, as string. Okay, so this test case will still fail because we'll expect that all the functions should be implemented. See, missing method. So you need to update mocks at that time. So you can do it the same way. Like mock with all. I'll just keep tree. This will again generate, and now it would have added delete. What is that? This has not implemented delete method yet. Am I running? Oh, I made a mistake because I'm running inside services folder. So that created inside services mocks. If you see it here, it has created with insert. No. Okay, so it has created only for services because this folder has only services interface. Let me just go back and run it again. See this delete method has been added. So there is no implementation I have added yet, and it is not returning anything. So it is just a simple thing. Update. Okay, but if you add some methods after mock is generated, you need to regenerate. Otherwise, your test case will fail.
Yeah, so basically we are updating it.
Yes, correct.
Got it.
Clear, guys? I know you need to practice it. Yeah, in one time you will not be able to understand everything. So yeah, I like for today, you will be having a quiz for this uh, testing session, but there won't be any assignment because Spark code doesn't support, like I was not able to give assignments for that. I have created few assignments for you guys, so you can work on it. If there are any issues, you can ping me, we can discuss. Okay, so yeah, so first assignment is like you can write a method to calculate sum of squares of numbers. Okay, add unit test using table driven method. So is this easy and understandable? Is there any question for this first question?
Can you also share the code repository what you used today?
Yeah, I'll do that. Yes, definitely. I'll push it on Git. You can use it. Okay, and then there is similar code you need to write for service and repository layer for maintaining movies released in the particular year. Let's say uh, in 2022, you have this Shamsera movie. So you can, in the model, you can keep any fields like name, cast, or one more field you can add like release date. Okay, you need to keep this data. You need to add repository method where you are going to add it. So there is one change. So here in this repository method, it was just product ID against this, but you need to, so in this case, you need to store year against that. There will be array. Here it was just a simple product. So there it will be array of movies. Okay. So two things you can do. One, you can write service layer test cases using mocking this data layer, which we did right now. Okay. And another thing you can do is you can write test case for this repository layer as well. So for repository layer, there won't be any mocking required because they are not calling any other service, right? Is this clear? Or any questions you have? Like you can
Can
write.
you also show an example where we test from like end to end for a service, like we use Docker and all for the service. Like we are testing only unit, and I saw in the documentation, the schedule also, that from next week we'll be starting with gRPC. So can you show like how can we write a service level test which tests from end to end?
So that is different. This is just for unit test. So
Yeah,
for
yeah,
testing,
that
you need
that
to
is not.
have integration tests.
Yeah, that is not covered. I guess, or is it covered?
No, that is not covered in this because you haven't learned about like how we create controllers, how request flows. So that part you haven't learned yet, right?
Will we have that at the end of the course, or
I
because
think
I can.
I need to check, but I think you will have it, but I need to check it.
Okay. And in Java also, can you show this unit testing framework? Like there is a Mockito framework. Can you
Yeah,
show that?
I
Okay.
haven't worked on Java. Sorry, I heard about it, but I haven't haven't used it much.
Okay.
You can like search on Google. So they use JUnit and Mockito, something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Similar thing they also do. Like they have some packages for mocking, and they mock these things the similar way. Okay. So this is just a simple function we had. So there could be many logic you can have inside this structure. So this is just a simple example. Okay, so your service layer will have all the business logic like let's say some calculations before saving to database. So that might come here. So you could write extensive test cases for this function. So that it works on every cases. Okay, so you can work on this assignment. If any, like you stuck somewhere, if you want to understand something, you can ping me. Okay, I'll share this with you. You can see the assignment. I will also push the code which I shown you to. Okay, this code. Okay. Any questions? Okay, so if you want, you can just remove this file and retry the same thing, and then you can start working on assignment. That will also do. Okay. Yeah, I'm done from my side. Thank you guys. If you have any questions, you can feel free to, like, please feel free to contact me.